أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحب وترضى بمصلي عليه اللهم علمني وعلمنا ما ينفعني وانفعني وانفعنا بما علمتني وعلمتنا وزدنا علما وصلى الله تعالى على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Welcome back. We was talking about this whole word which encompasses so much of the reality of at the very core of our conduct in terms of worship, huququllah, and in terms of huququl ibad, in terms of duties towards humanity and whatever it is there. Now, what is interesting is that in terms of our application of this word in the context of Ashabul Kahf, they got up, right? They asked each other, how long have you been sleeping, a day or part of a day? Then they realized, oh yes, I forgot one thing. The moment they got up after 309 years, the first thing that happened was that all their bodily function got back to normal. And the first thing that they felt like every other human being was wanted to break fast. Breakfast. Khana. Then they felt hungry. So then they sent someone out. They told the person, now go out there, right, and get us azka ta'aman. Read that. And get us the most purified loudly can't hear you. Okay. I don't think she wants to read that part. It doesn't say panting food. That's all. Can you read it, dog? Azka, the best food, the best quality of food, the cleanest food possible. Ta'aman, right? We'll get back to that just now. 2 points I want to put across to you. When the Ashabul Kahf came out and they got up and they realized, oh, we're hungry now, they sent somebody out. So they told him, proceed with caution. Proceed with gentleness. Be aware of your situation around you. They didn't know that 300 years have passed, so they expected their enemies there who were going out and hunting them and whatever it is. They said, okay, proceed with caution. So you can imagine how the person must have gone from one point to another point, watching, observant, right? Ensuring that he's not seen by anybody. Also, checking out the whole atmosphere that's there, what's going on, and analyzing the situation and whatever it is. This also gives us an indication of 2 stages in our lives. One is when we emerge from our mother's wombs, right? And we entered in this new dimension which you know as the life of dunya, right? The life on earth. At that moment in time there, the child is most vulnerable. A child is most vulnerable. It's at that time there when a person or a mother or parents are most gentle with the child. It's at that time when parents are most gentle with the child. And this teaches us as well, right? That from our womb till the time we enter into our tombs, right? The operating principle in governing our lives must always be gentleness, always be courtesy, always be caution. You know what they say? Think before you leap, or whatever, something like that. You understand, right? Very critical. And the second aspect is that Ashabul Kahf fell off to sleep and they woke up. And how long is that? A day or part of a day. So this gives us an indication in terms of the cycle of our life as well. You and I sleep every night and we get up every night. And the lesson from there is that every time when you fall off to sleep at night and every morning that you get up, adopt this philosophy of Ashabul Kahf, that today I will proceed with caution. I will proceed with courtesy. Right? I will act gently. I'll be sensitive to people's needs. I'll be sensitive to the requirements of people. I'll be sensitive to the emotions of people. I'll be sensitive how I deal with them and interact with them. And most importantly, I'll be sensitive in terms of my conduct with others and most importantly with myself. Because you had a mini death when you fell off to sleep. Right? And when you woke up, how did you sleep? The whole night or part of a night? Unless of course you're Dr. Salaji, then you put other people off to sleep. Right? Or part of a night. So that's your lesson from Ashabul Kahf. I will proceed every single day with courtesy, with gentleness, with caution, with understanding. And one more aspect of it that comes out of here, of our whole overall lessons from Ashabul Kahf, one is insulation, not isolation. Number two is that we need trust and faith and conviction in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we need to strengthen that trust, faith and conviction in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through, I'm just using the word group therapy. We need to support one another in this mission. Number three is that we have to engage in some degree of seclusion by engaging in mujahada and striving and delving within ourselves. Self, introspection, reflection, khalwa, seclusion, and so on there. Devoting a part of your day, part of your life, part of your time there in the devotion and ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And when that is taking place there, the nafs, your dog that you should be holding the leash for, and not where your dog should have you on a leash, should be sitting at the threshold, legs widespread there in subservience to you, not the other way around. So when you are engaging in seclusion, when you are engaging in ibadah, when you are engaging in striving, then make sure your nafs is under control. Because even if you are in the cave there, right, meaning in the cave of seclusion there, but if your nafs is with you in the cave as opposed to standing at your threshold there at your service, you will end up taking care of the needs of the dog instead of the dog taking care of your needs. Very critical point I'm putting across here. We are more preoccupied with taking care of the needs of our dog, our nafs. Whereas the reality should be that the nafs now, when you have mastered and gained control over it, that the nafs must be there at your service, at your command. Right now, you and I, nafs says, I'm hungry, feed. The nafs says, I want to sleep, sleep. Soja, beta, soja. Don't wake up for you're very tired. Yes, boss. Nafs says, I want this, provide it. Nafs says, I got attitude, I am not this one here. Hey, Hazrat, I'll feed your ego. Literally feed it. You are like this, nafs is like this. Right now, we are pandering to every need of our nafs. Am I right? We have to come to that level when the nafs panders to your every need. When the nafs says, yes, master, like a dog. You'll feed me, I'll eat when you feed me. I'll eat when you feed me. I will obey you. If you shun me, hit me, throw me, chase me away, and not fulfill my requirements, I will still come back smiling to you. That's how you go from nafsul ammara to nafsul lawwama to nafsul mutmainna and blah 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 blah. That's the critical point here. Today, we are in subservience to our nafs, and we are in service to our nafs, as opposed to where it should be that the nafs is subservient at your command, at your beck and call. And the third thing, in terms of this whole story of Ashabul Kahf, is that in this modern age, what is required, as I said, is for us to insulate ourselves by going back to nature and to that which is real, as opposed to this world in which you are living, which is practically 99% artificial. Virtual reality has become a very big thing now. The latest expo now, everything's coming to virtual reality. Everything has become artificial. And the one way to save yourself in the fitna of this modern age there is to bring yourself back to which is genuinely real. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said amongst the signs of the best thing that a person will be able to do would be take some of his cattle, some of his sheep, etc. and go away to some high mountain place there or some verdant valley there where he will save his deen from any fitna. And that doesn't mean you go for weekend getaways. It means a paradigm shift, a lifestyle change. And ladiesman doesn't count as a farm. Okay? Get back to the real world. And what did the Ashabul Kahf say? Azka ta'aman. That food which is purer, or which is most pure. And this is one critical thing, right? What we feed ourselves with, physically and spiritually, is what is going to be giving you that energy. And what you put in is what you get out. And in this day and age, the one thing that is one of the fundamental causes of our own personal destruction from a physical perspective from an emotional perspective and from a spiritual perspective, is the type and quality of food that you and I are consuming. First thing is that, are your earnings halal? Number one. Is the food that you're eating halal? Two. Number three, in terms of the quality of food that you are eating, how great is that? You know, not everything is now organic, which you're paying dada kadam for, right? But that's the closest thing currently to what is real. But if you were to see what is real in terms of what you call organic out there, you'll get shocked. Go to one of these morning markets. What's it called, man? What's it called? Early morning market. What's it called? Shongwei market is another one, man. That one day in... huh? No. That one day... Come on, ask the Hambaji. Huh? Morning trade. There's it. Ask the right people. Morning trade. And go and see the size of the vegetables that you get there. One. And see that they're not perfectly shaped, perfectly colored. Now you see a couple of knobs here and there, and a couple of blemishes here and there, but in terms of size, in terms of quality, in terms of taste, in terms of flavor, many of you young people, I include myself in inshallah ta'ala, right, have never tasted fowl. Not F-O-U-L, I'm using the pure Indian word for it. Fowl. Right? All you old people who know about fowl. Sorry, running fowl. You must say it properly as well, running fowl. Not foul, fowl. Right? Have you tasted, older people will remember it, a proper chicken. Proper chicken is not white in color. There's no such thing as white meat. Proper chicken is almost creamish in color. Proper chicken is not as soft and, like almost like a cotton wool, right? The way you and I eat food right now. Proper chicken is a bit tough to chew, but it's got loads of flavor in it. Ask the ladies and people, they'll tell you, right? A proper egg is almost orangish in color. The yolk is almost orangish in color. Woolworths doesn't come close. Proper milk is not white. Proper milk is creamish in color. Right? And the type of food that you and I consume, right? And from where we've sourced that food. Yeah, we all know about fair trade and all that nonsense. Oh yeah, that's one thing. And from where we've earned in order to acquire that food. It's part of the food chain. I say the food chain starts off with halal earnings. Then the food chain goes to, right, whether it is genuinely halal in terms of the ingredients. Right? Thirdly, right, in terms of the quality of the food, whether it is purified food or it is putrefied food. If you see the milk that you buy in all your shops, Clover and Fairfield and all of these things there, if you see the original state of that milk when it came out from the cow, you won't drink it. Ask anyone from SPCA. There's more bacteria in that which has to be treated with antibiotics before it reaches your table. And SPCA has to maintain the lowest standards to pass that milk. You and I can't drink raw milk. But do you know raw milk is the best milk? And raw milk won't give you a problem. You're only drinking pasteurized milk. You can drink raw milk, you're aware of that. I mean, don't drink it neat, boil it. For our sensitive stomachs, why our stomachs are sensitive is because we're not accustomed to the real deal, you understand? I've had raw milk. My father used to buy quite a bit of raw milk, you make them stop in wherever they bring 2 liters there. Hey, the milk is cream, man. You didn't need sugar in that. You didn't need sugar in your drink. If you get they should sell it here before. I don't know why they stopped selling it. Right? Pure stuff. Pure quality. And more often than not, 98 to 95%, me and my statistics, I only get it, but you get the point, right? Is all, processed. It's all processed. The apple that you eat, fresh, right? I think they had done this BBC program on it, right? It was plucked from the tree after 8 months, kept in a refrigeration area, so many degrees, right? For 4 months. 3 weeks before it hits the shelf, they bring it back to normal temperature so the normal growth can once again, like cryogenics, right? The normal growth can start again. So by the time it reaches the shelf, fresh apple which was harvested 1 year ago. Serious? The fresh apple that you saw, best before, you said on Woolworths, best before this. Salah Rabbi, they're bluffing you, man. They plugged that thing 8 months ago. Ask my Musalli is downstairs. He's the head of that one thing in the terminals here, in our harbour for citrus, part of the citrus board. The best oranges of this country, you and I have never ever seen. The best mangoes of this country, you and I have never seen. We have the best lychees in the world. You've never seen the best lychees in the world. All exported. All exported. Right? They pluck those oranges and they keep it in the storage place there to be sent to Japan, right? It takes about 6 months before it gets there. But when you see it on the shelf, hey, fresh man, customer, you got plucked off the trees. Allah bluffing you. You know salmon. You know that you get this Norwegian smoked salmon and Norwegian salmon in Woolworths and Sainsbury's and Harrods and all that? Do you know where the thing is farmed? This was an interesting thing in BBC. I hope I still have it on all of those hard drives, whatever it is there. Right? They actually created a system wherein, these big trucks you get, those 16-wheelers and whatever it is there, they filled it up with water just to mimic that whole spawning process of salmon. Where they have to jump, from one to another inside there to spawn. Have you seen that in the rivers? Where the salmon swim upstream and then they jump and take the leap of faith, so to speak, there, etc. Do you know how they mimicked it for them in 2 trucks? When they open the space, like one of those, like you get those buses which are joined together, like those like chutes in between, right? And in between that space, the salmon were actually jumping from one truck, moving truck, to another truck to simulate moving water. And we eat it as fresh Norwegian Scottish salmon, or Norwegian Scottish salmon, or whatever it is. Really, I'm telling you. How they manipulate, what's it called, Brussels sprouts. These whites eat it for Christmas and so on there. How to take out the karwahat, what they call the bitterness from Brussels sprouts. What do you think? Woolworths gets this perfect, they can guarantee it will ripen within 2 days. By virtue of what? What do you think? Allah's mercy. Through the sun. Through the sun. Let's say you buy it, it'll ripen in 2 days from Woolworths you buy it. I know you're all supporting BDS, I can. Alright? 2 days, you really think that, how you think the process took place? Azka ta'aman. You and I are not eating anything which is real. I'll give you a challenge. Take a piece of meat in which the name of Allah was not taken when it was slaughtered and leave it in the fridge. Right? Take a piece of meat on which the name of Allah was taken, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, properly. Right? And leave that meat there. See which one goes off quicker. See which one goes off quicker. Which one do you think? Huh? The one without the name of Allah being taken. Guaranteed. And don't call it aged steak. This went off. Right? Forget about it. No, really. Azka ta'aman. And this is where we've gone wrong. With all the diseases that are in the dunya right now, not all of them, but what I'm talking about is that they are all lifestyle diseases. Right? If you eat the prophetic diet, azka ta'aman, right, chances are that you won't be afflicted by diabetes and this and that and heart problems and this and that are common diseases right now in the world. Because firstly, as I've told you on numerous occasions, the diet of the Prophet of Allah was primarily pure food, number 1. Number 2, from sustainable resources. Number 3, fresh from the ground. Number 4, more often than not, it was in an uncooked, unprocessed, raw state. And the Prophet of Allah was primarily vegan, not even vegetarian. Fundamentally, he was more vegan than vegetarian, and then pescatarian, well not fish, pescatarian, and then maybe meat. Do you know that? Most of his food was consumed in its raw, original state. He ate dates, fresh, rutab. He ate cucumbers, fresh. Right? Most of his food was fresh sauces. Meaning not S-A-U-C-E-S now, sauces, not Nando's, please. From fresh, so you understand? Whatever came out from there is what they ate. They ate seasonally. Allah has created fruit for certain seasons, with certain colors. You don't pay attention to these things. The fruit of winter are different from the fruits of summer. The flavors of the fruit are different. The colors of the fruit of winter, on autumn and so on, they are different from the color. Allah has created for a specific reason. I came across this article, wallah alam, you know, don't catch me on this one here. But in terms of the composition, you know, the apple inside and the composition of a potato is basically the same. Have you noticed that? Peel a potato, next time Razia, I don't know when last you did it, but never mind. Peel a potato, right? Peel the apple. Look at them, they practically look the same. If you give it to a child, chances are the child won't know the difference. They say that the only thing that differentiates there, primarily for us, in terms of flavor, besides the flavonoids or whatever it's called, is the fragrance. I read it somewhere, don't ask me where, I can't even remember, so I could be wrong, right? So don't take it as a gospel truth or anything there, but something like that. Azka ta'aman, the Prophet ﷺ's food was primarily raw, whether it was dates, and this is where I have an issue personally with all the banting people, in the sense that the paleo diet of only meat and this and that is not a prophetic diet. It's not a prophetic diet. He introduced carbs into his diet, right? But limited, right? In terms of the quality of food that he had there, it had the utmost requirements for nutrition. It had nutritional value. It was not there to satisfy you. It was there purely for nutritional value, to sustain you, not to entertain you. Today you and I eat food for pleasure. The Prophet